Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's session, Increase Your Chances of Passing the CIA Exam. And this is for preparation, and we are glad to have you with us today. We want to welcome our speakers that will be presenting for you today. First off, we have Jonathan Jones. He's the manager of IIA Global Certification Administration here at the IIA. We also have Vicki McIntyre. She's president of First Plus Resolutions, Inc. She's past chair of the IIA Chapter Relations Committee of North America. She's a member of the North American Board of Directors, and she's a CIA Learning Systems instructor. We also have with us Kelly Quinn, vice president of IIA Strategic Partnership and the IIA CIA Learning System. So we'll bring them on in just a second. Let me tell you what our speakers will be covering today. They'll be going over the Certified Internal Auditor CIA certification program, an overview of the exam, exam preparation, and this is with the new IIA CIA Learning System version 7. They'll be talking about some study tips and test-taking tips, some links and resources, and then if time permits at the end, we'll have some questions. There will be 3 polls that we'll do throughout the session, and we'll look forward to your feedback. If you have any questions during the program, there is an icon at the bottom of your screen that shows a little question mark. You can open that up and submit a question, and we'll also be happy to help you with any technical issues that you may have. We have a technical advisor on standby, so just use that same icon if you're having any kind of audio or technical issues. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Jonathan Jones.
Thank you very much, Marie. Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. I'm glad you guys are able to join right now. As aforementioned, my name is Jonathan Jones, and I am the manager of the certification administration team here. Really glad to be on the call today and talk to you guys about the CIA. So first, we just want to cover a little bit about the CIA. For some of you, you may already know about it, and you're just chomping at the bits, ready to get in there. But for others, maybe this is, brand new to you. You've not heard of it before. You're not familiar with the IIA or the CIA. Maybe this is a career change, or maybe this is something, that your job is trying to get you to do to kind of further your career. Either way, we definitely want to give you some information about what the CIA is and what it means to hold the CIA. First off, there's 165,000 plus that are certified globally. So that means there's a very wide range and a wide network that you'll have access to just by earning the CIA. It is the only globally recognized certification for internal auditors. As so far as there are certain governments in certain countries, whereas the CIA is a prerequisite for you to be the head of internal audit. So there's really a lot of pull behind the CIA and the IA globally. Auditing in any country, companies, industries, they all recognize the CIA. And the most important thing is this is based on the International Professional Practices Framework, also known as the IPPS. So whether or not a company is familiar with the CIA specifically, almost every business has some form of the IPPF built into its structure. So just learning about the IPPF in and of itself outside of the CIA, is a really big plus. But in addition to that, you also get all the other benefits of earning the CIA. And this is just to give a visual representation of what we were just talking about. So here, I'm in Florida. So you can see in North America, we've got, a bit over 58,600 CIAs that are currently active. But if you look globally throughout the world, that number really is starting to balance out. Like if you look over in Asia Pacific, 72,000. When you move towards South America, there's over 1,500. And a lot of these areas have not had an IIA presence or may not have had the ability to earn the CIA for a long period of time. So obviously in the U.S. it started, way back in the 40s, but here with other parts of the world, it's really starting to catch on. So when you look at this visual representation, you see just how quickly it's starting to grow and become adapted throughout other areas of the world. So here's just a couple of, off the top, benefits of earning the CIA, right? We're talking about, a credibility with internal and external clients there. Especially if you're within internal or external audit, some clients may request someone who holds the CIA because they know that you're trained in both and you're going to be flexible. So that means that they can move you from one project to the other, and that you're able to process information according to those standards. Again, we talk about the IPPF because it is something that's very respected when it comes to industry standards. So that's something that they will look for. Opportunities for advancement. Everybody wants to advance. You want to take that next step. Some companies will require you to hold the CIA in order to take that next step in audit. So whether or not you are a staff auditor, you want to move to a manager, or you're a manager looking to take the next step to CAE, the CIA lays the perfect groundwork for you to kind of take that next jump. Obviously broadening your knowledge base, that's self-explanatory, so you get to build onto what you already know or maybe enhance skills that you've earned elsewhere. Expanding confidence. There's nothing better than knowing that, hey, I know whatever situation that I find myself in, I have a confidence that I'm going to be able to make it better because this is what I was trained for, and that's exactly what you get with the CIA. It's a distinguishing element when it comes to peers. So, if you've got 10 people who are going for the same gig, but you're the one with the CIA, that's obviously going to set you apart. And increasing the earning potential. On the next slide, we'll get into a little bit more specifics as far as numbers, but through so many different surveys that we've done, polls, whether or not it's companies, industry surveys, it's been pretty clear that the earning potential is pretty substantially greater if you hold the CIA. If you're looking at this sheet here, that far number on the right, 38,000 is around the average that was shown to, that's what you would earn more so than someone who does not hold the CIA. So just that alone by itself, it kind of shows the value in, as far as, a monetary value. The other two, if we're looking at the 70% in the middle there, it's the amount of CAEs who prefer to have CIAs on their staff. And especially with the way that things have kind of changed over the past year and a half with COVID, there's other fires that need to be put out by CAEs. And in some cases, they may not have the time to really dig down into the hiring practices and who's getting hired for what. So it really kind of helps to elevate you by them to be able to see, oh, hey, this person has a CIA. I know what they learned. It's a good chance that they may hold the CIA as well. So it really does kind of help to bridge that gap and to put them at ease when they're making the hiring decisions. And of course, the final number, which is the 84%. 84% of the people that were polled there said that they believe the CIA adds value. Again, we're talking about a mixture of managers, CAEs, staff auditors. So pretty much everyone who was involved with calculating these numbers, they all kind of came to the same conclusion that there's several benefits when it comes to earning the CIA.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan, so much. We have our first polling question, folks. It's displayed on your screen, and we'd like to know, when are you planning to take a CIA exam part? Within the next 6 months, within the next 12 months, or perhaps you haven't decided yet. So please go ahead and make your selection and click on that submit button, and that'll give our speakers an idea of when you might want to be considering taking a part of the CIA exam. We'll give you about 15 or seconds or so. Make sure we have everyone accounted for. Okay, I can see those responses coming in. Thank you so much. We'll give it a few more seconds. Make sure we get everybody. Okay, and this will be the first of 3 polling questions we have throughout the broadcast. So they're coming in nicely. Thank you. About 5 more seconds. And then I'm going to close the poll and display those results for everybody. Okay, very good. Thank you all so much. I'm going to push out those results and turn it back to Jonathan.
Thank you, Marie. Looking at the results, looks like we have an ambitious group. We'd love to see that. Some of you I know have taken advantage of the work from home situation that a lot of us found ourselves in. So it's nice not to have to commute. Me personally, I had about a 2.5 hour commute per day. So, you can take that extra time, and it does help with the studies. So really excited to see that most of you are kind of ready to jump in there and get into taking the exams. So speaking of jumping in, so let's see, what is it that we have to do to get certified, right? So that's the first step. That's the first hurdle, is just getting started. So the first thing that you want to do is to apply. You complete the application requirements by submitting your documentation within 90 days of your payment. So once you make the payment for the application, then you have 90 days to submit your supporting documentation, which is very simple. We'll get into that in just a moment. Number 2 is to register and test. So obviously you're going to prepare, and that's why we've got Vicki and Kelly on to talk about how to prepare. And then you test. Of course, all you guys are going to pass it on the first time. And after that, you become certified, verify your experience. The experience that you're required to evidence does change depending on the education level, which we'll kind of get into a little. But then once you become certified, then it's a matter of just maintaining your CPEs and keeping up on your continuing education each year. So here is a very simple slide which shows how easy it is to get approved into the program. So 3 things that we need. The first is a government-issued photo ID, driver's license, passport, national identity card, the basic things that I think most of us have. Educational diploma or a transcript. So you have a associate's or higher, and it's just, direct line into the program. In the event that you don't hold one of those, we allow you to enter into the program if you have experience. So if you've got, 5 or more years of experience and you don't have the associates or higher, you can still be approved into the program. There's more information on our website as to those alternative pathways, but we try to make it as easy as possible to allow those who have both the diploma and those who have experience to enroll into the program. And the last thing is a character reference. It's very simple. Once you submit your application, this is all done from within your CCMS record, which is what houses your certification application. You simply click on the character reference. It's one button. You click on it. You initiate it. You just type in the person who you would like to verify your character, and basically they're just saying like, hey, I know this person, good character, they're ready to take on the program, and as soon as that's approved, you're all ready to go and ready to start testing. So this is a 3-part exam, in case you were not aware. You can take the exam in any order, so that means you can take sequential 1 through 3, you can take 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, however you would like, depending on your study habits. And then it's a scaled score. So you need a score of 600 or above to pass, but the scale does go between 250 to 750. And then this is just a little information about the CIA exam parts. As far as the time requirements, you have about 2.5 hours to take part 1. That's 125 questions approximately. Parts 2 and 3, you don't quite have as much time because there aren't as many questions. So 2 hours for parts 2 and 3, about 1 hour 25 for part 1. And we just wanted to give you a little bit more information on the exam syllabus. So this is really, going to be one of the key components of the study. So you've got the learning system, of course, and then you also have the exam syllabi, which coincides with the learning system. So this is really going to target your studies and to target the topics that you really want to become proficient in. Part one obviously has the most domains because it has the most amount of questions, right? Part two, when you look at it, it's more condensed, more concise. But then if you look at the breakdown, you have performing the engagement as one of the higher percentages, and then the others balance out at 20%. So these are the things that obviously the learning system will talk to you about, but you definitely want to pay attention to that weighted percentage so you can focus your studies in the best, most efficient way. And then the part three, which was redone recently, I really love the new domains now. It's very concise. And when you're looking at this, it has elements of today's world. So we're talking about, information security. We're talking about IT. You're talking about business acumen. And again, financial management. So when we are looking at the syllabi, and this also ties into the value of the CIA, flexibility is one of the biggest things that pop into my brain. There's been so many examples that I've had over the past year of people who were maybe in a different area, a different field, had nothing to do with internal auditing. They studied, get their CIA. Either they went into internal audit, they transitioned from external to internal, or some of them even went into like an IT field. I think my overall point is that once you start to study for the CIA, you'll see how those principles kind of branch off into other areas. And it's something that you can use not only for internal audit, but for other professions as well. So it really is a robust and a multifunctional certification. Finally, this is the extra requirement. This is what I was talking about when it comes to your experience requirement. If you have a master's, you only need 1 year of experience in order to earn the certification. Bachelor's is 2 years of experience. We have an alternative pathway, which is the internal audit practitioner, which kind of goes over the basics of internal audit. Once you pass that designation, then you no longer have to meet the educational requirement of the master's, bachelor's, or associates. You automatically have entry into the CIA, provided you're able to give us a photo ID and a character reference, which shouldn't be too hard. So that's another alternative pathway, and more information is available on our website. And then the associate's degree, if you possess the associates, then that also would require 5 years of experience in order to be awarded the certification. And I believe we have another poll question.
We do indeed. Thank you so much. Folks, if you would be so kind as to let us know if you have already applied for the CIA certification program. And it's either a yes or no response. That will be of great interest to our speakers. So please take a moment and make your selection and click on that submit button. And we'll give you about 10, 15 seconds for this one since it's a pretty quick question. And those responses are coming in nicely. Thank you so much. And we'll just give a little more time. And we're almost there. About 5 more seconds, and then I'm going to close the poll and then turn it back to Jonathan. Okay, there we go. Thank you so much. Let me display those results. And Jonathan, back to you.
Okay. Looks like it's an even split. Definitely is a good time to apply into the program. There's a promotion that's being ran, which gives you 20% off of your application and exam registrations as a member. So if you haven't applied into the program, I would advise to do that during the month of May while that promotion is going on, so you can save as much and kind of get the ball rolling. So in response to, a lot of the ongoing situation that's been happening for the past year and a half or so in regards to the pandemic, we have offered online proctoring. So this simply means that you can test from the comfort of your home, maybe your office, as long as you meet the system requirements, which are available on our website again, then you're able to take the exam remotely. So it's not available in all areas, so you want to make sure that you view the site and ensure that your area has been made available for the online proctoring. But that's another alternative and another way that you can test outside of going to a physical test center. So you've done all the work, you studied hard, you passed the exam on your first attempt. Now it's just a matter of maintaining the certification. So to do that, you just need to earn a certain amount of CPEs per year. So the cool thing about it is you only need to earn 40 hours if you are practicing. If you're not practicing, you only need to earn 20 hours. If you have more than one certification, right, if you outside of the CIA, or maybe you have the CIA and the CRMA, those CPEs that you earn are able to apply to both certifications. So you don't need to earn double the amount of CPEs just to maintain your certification. So we really try to make it as easy as possible in order for you to not only earn the certification, but to maintain it and to keep it throughout your career. A lot of the information that I talked about, as well as more detailed information in a step-by-step guide on certification, can be downloaded here at the site. And this is our certification candidate handbook. Again, it covers pretty much everything that I went over today, as well as additional information. And then it goes into the specifics and a step-by-step walkthrough of what you need to do in order to earn the certification. So if you have not already downloaded that, then we do encourage you to have a look and to download the handbook. And again, here's the mention, take full advantage of this. You can save up to 20% off of your application and registrations in the month of May as a member. There is a link here. And it definitely, it's kind of sells itself. So if you're interested in the CIA, I advise you to at least apply into the program. That way you can get the ball started and still save the 20% off. And with that, I will turn it over to Vicki.
Thank you, Jonathan, and it's my pleasure to be here with all of you today. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and talk about preparing for your CIA examinations. I have been teaching this curriculum for about 12 years now and literally have taught to thousands of people in the virtual space, in a live seminar environment, with short little CIA exam overview courses, with very comprehensive courses where we go 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, pretty intense, but at IIA conferences and seminars all over the world. And as Marie indicated when she introduced me and Jonathan and Kelly, I'm a strong advocate for the Institute of Internal Auditors. I've been an IIA volunteer leader for nearly 30 years. And I believe earning your CIA certification is one of the very best things that you can do for your career, whether you stay in internal audit or not. It teaches you the body of knowledge, the professional practices framework, and by passing your Part 3 exam, it gives you a very broad understanding of business risk and internal control, IT, financial management topics that are essential for any role in the business environment. So beyond just the professional practices framework and learning the standards and guidance and code of ethics and all of that is germane to the internal audit professional, you get a really broad brush exposure to essentials of business. So the IIA's CIA Learning System version 7.0 has been with us for about 6 months, and we are seeing tremendous success with this learning system. I've had folks that were in my classes using the previous version who have been now wrapping up their exam experiences. And just in the last week, I've heard from 2 of my students who have successfully passed their Part 3 exam. And now we're in the final stages of actually getting that CIA certificate. So very exciting. This there is a transition way of getting from version 6 to version 7. So check in with Kelly at the end of the session if you invested in version 6 and now need to upgrade to version 7. Why would you choose the IIA's CIA learning system? Well, it will allow you to follow an individualized study plan that prioritizes the content that you're going to focus most heavily on based on your personal knowledge gaps. So there's a pretest that you can take to gauge your understanding of all of the syllabus topics. And from there, then you can focus on the areas where you have knowledge gaps, or you can go straight through and follow the syllabus path. So sequentially, topic by topic by topic through each part and each topic within the syllabus for each exam part. The learning system focuses on smaller content segments. So the micro-learning approach allows you to take literally 5 to 10 minutes of time and focus on one specific topic. The system gives you estimated study times so that you can, make the most efficient use of your time and make sure that you have a clear understanding of every topic as you're moving through the learning system. So again, whether you have a quick 3 to 5 minutes before a Zoom meeting or Teams meeting or whatever, or you have a full hour that you can sit down and dedicate to studying, you can progress towards your goal of earning your CIA certification. Also, the learning system is designed for mobile devices, so you can access your materials wherever you are 24/7. Any mobile device, any tablet, computer, laptop, whatever, just log in and you continue, you pick right up where you left off. Take advantage of your downtime with the study tools that are accessible 24/7. So again, anytime you have a bit of downtime, you might want to be reviewing the flashcards and vocabulary words just to reinforce your understanding of terminology and definitions. Also, those of you who are IIA members can click through the system to the members only recommended guidance that is on the IIA.org on the website. You can click through to that directly from the Learning System's online study tools. So again, this curriculum from version 6 to version 7, it has kind of been restructured to provide you with little bite-sized study modules that are more digestible, if you will. Again, the learning system follows the CIA Exam Syllabus and the International Professional Practices Framework and will help you to understand and learn and apply the content. So this is not just an exercise in memorization. You will learn the standards and you will learn the practical application of the content in the learning system. Most CIA candidates prefer to study on their own, but not everybody stays focused. I have always said that I am a master procrastinator. That approach doesn't work well for me. So a lot of people like me will drop off on their studies, or they don't adequately prepare, or life happens and things get in the way. So some people need a more structured approach. The IIA's Board of Directors and the Learning Solutions Department wanted to solve this dilemma. So this is a flexible learning system that can be used alone if you're into self-study and you are disciplined and you can tackle it that way. It can be used in small informal groups, like a study group of your peers. Maybe in your audit shop, you have several newer auditors that are pursuing their CIA certification. You could form a study group with those folks, do it that way. Or you can work through it in organized training sessions that are publicly available or privately available. Your audit activity can hire IIA instructors to either present to you virtually, or we're moving now a little bit back to the live classroom environment, depending on the safety protocols and what have you, and organizational return to work, return to the office standards and protocols. So self-study, instructor-led, or corporate, these are all opportunities for you. The bottom line is that the CIA learning system is a system that can help you learn regardless of your preferred learning style. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the colleges and universities across North America and internationally that are offering not for credit as well as for credit, earning college unit courses. So I have taught the IIA's CIA learning system through UC Davis in Northern California, through Chapman University in Southern California, Rice University out of Houston, Texas. So universities all across North America are also offering this curriculum. Prepare to pass, steps to success. Absolutely essential that you first understand your baseline, understand what is your starting point, assess yourself and your understanding of the various topics in the exam syllabi, and understand where you need to go from here. So there is an online pretest that is used within the CIA learning system for you to evaluate your strengths and weaknesses. Then the second step, once you understand your baseline and your starting point, then you'll study. So you follow a personalized study path that will prioritize the topics based on your assessment. You'll study a section of the reading materials, just like in a college course. You'll read your textbook. You'll complete quizzes. You'll review flashcards. The flashcards are great study tools to reinforce terminology and definitions. And then you'll practice. So after you complete your studies, then you put yourself in exam mode by completing the CIA practice exam emulation test. So this emulation test is exactly like you will experience in the Pearson VUE test-taking environment. The look and feel of the screen and the user interface is exactly like you will experience on your actual CIA exams. You will see the time clock ticking away in the upper right-hand corner of your screen so that you always know how much time you have remaining to finish your exam questions. The bottom line in terms of preparing to pass, please recognize that this is an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your career path. And this is going to benefit you for the rest of your career. It's going to require time and dedication and effort. And I always tell my students, without exception, the only reason that people don't earn their CIA certification is because of procrastination and not getting it done. They simply don't commit, and they're not using a structured and disciplined approach like you get with the structure of the IIA's CIA learning system. So take it to heart, recognize that it's all about you. You're in charge. You're in charge of your success. With earning your CIA certification, and you're in charge of your success through life. So let's go a little bit deeper here. Oh, we have a polling question. Marie, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Vicki. Yes, we have our last polling question. And Vicki had talked about different learning styles, so we'd be interested to learn how you like to study. On your own through a self-study program, in a classroom, an in-person instructor-led course, or in an online classroom with an online instructor-led course or some other method. So please be so kind as to make your selection, click on the submit button, and we'll have a good idea of how the folks in our audience today like to learn. And we'll give you about 10 or 15 seconds to have those results come in. And there they come now. Thank you. Okay. We're almost there. Appreciate your responses. This is good feedback for our speakers. Okay, about 10 more seconds, and then I'm going to close the poll and display those results. Okay, we've almost got everybody. A few more seconds. There we go. All right, thank you all so much. I'm going to close the poll. And Vicki, I'm pushing out those results now. Here's what folks had to say.
Thank you, Marie. Okay, so about 60% on your own. That's good. Independent learners. So 60% on your own, 17% in a classroom, and we are getting there. As an educator and trainer, I'm getting more and more inquiries for, are you willing to come and be with us live and in person? So we're moving there, thankfully. Online classroom or online virtual instruction, we're also doing that quite a lot. The bottom line is you can go to the IIA's website and go to the certifications tab. There's a link under CIA certification that will take you to many different courses. You can also find out about IIA hosted courses through the Learning Solutions team. When you click on the seminars and conferences tab, that'll show you all of the CIA offerings. There are many, 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 many offerings with different time frames, maybe 2 hours a day, 3 days a week. Some of them are 3 hours a day, 2 days a week. So there's a lot of different offerings for each exam part. So check it out and take advantage of that if you prefer those instructor-led courses. So now let's talk about, steps to success. Here we have assess. Assess where you are today. Complete the online pretest and evaluate your strengths and weaknesses. And then from there, come up with a plan. We always say proper prior planning prevents poor performance. So write your study plan, calendar your study time. You've got to show up for your appointments. Remember, it's all about you. Okay, so this pretest is a 50-question online test. You'll get a summary of your results by topic, and then you can go back and review the questions and the rationales for the answers. But the critical step here is to do this self-assessment, come up with your study plan. Then you will study. So choose your study path. Your pretest results are going to determine your recommended study path. So you'll be able to analyze your gaps, and then you can prioritize the topics that need the most work. If you choose, and I often recommend this for auditors who are new to the profession, I recommend following the exam syllabus topic by topic by topic and sequentially working through the learning system with particular emphasis where you have the gaps based on your pretest results. The point is, for newer auditors, learning the professional standards and the code of ethics, the definition of internal audit, the mission statement, learning the 10 core principles, all of that is going to serve you very well and accelerate you through your audit work experience. So take the time to work sequentially through the syllabus and get a really solid understanding of every topic on the syllabus if you're a new auditor. Okay? If you've been around for a while and been working in the profession, you might want to focus on your gap analysis as your study strategy. So how do we study? We read the materials. So you read a section of the reading materials, chapters, sections within the book. Again, for people that like to study on the go, if you're traveling again, the learning system has all the reading materials that are available online, or you can download them to your e-reader. The printed books are also available. There's one book per part, so three-part exam, one book per part. And for those of you that like to hold a book in your hand and flip the pages and use your highlighter and make notes in the margin, you can get the printed books from the IIA if you choose that. The online menu is also going to give you an estimate of how long it's going to take to read a particular topic. So that's good for budgeting your time. So study the materials. The topics are presented in these small little micro-learning segments to help you be more efficient with your study. If you're still not sure about a topic after completing the reading, you can link directly to additional resources. If you're an IIA member, again, it'll take you straight to the IIA's website to the members-only content for that reinforcement of the topics or information. By the way, if you are not an IIA member, find out from your employer if your employer has a group membership to the IIA, because you may be a member by default and you don't know it. Okay, so that's step one. Step two, if you find out that your audit activity or your employer is not an IIA member, you will want to become a member. The membership fee that you will pay is less than the additional incremental charge for each of the 3 exams, as well as the application fee that you will, the charge and the amount of money that you will spend to earn your certification. So you will save more by becoming a member than the membership fee that you will invest in. Okay? So again, these, it's very beneficial to be an IIA member, but it's not required, definitely not required. Another great thing about being an IIA member, aside from the financial element, is that you can click on these links and go directly to the members-only content. So after you've studied, you'll be taking quizzes. After you've read several of the topics, you'll kind of group them together. You'll take an online quiz. All of the questions are multiple choice, 4 possible solutions. You choose the one best answer. You click OK to see the correct answer and the rationale for why that's the best available answer. And after each quiz question, you will receive feedback. So you'll get the correct answer and the explanation of why that answer is the best answer, as well as a reference to where you can find more information in your reading materials. Okay? You can download all of the quiz questions from the database and reinforce your learning that way as well. Flashcards and glossary. So from my student feedback, this is one of the greatest resources available to you in the learning system. I recommend that you do it the old-fashioned way. Print the flashcards with the terminology and the definitions. Add details from your reading materials to augment the flashcards so that you are taking a deeper dive into the content that's presented in the glossary term or the flashcard. We know that adult learners learn best with more touch points with information and reinforcing what they're learning. So by looking at a flashcard with a term, and you've already read the content in your CIA Learning System curriculum, you recall supplemental information supporting the terminology on the flashcard. And then write that information on that flashcard. And now you've gotten to 3 or 4 touch points with the same content. Now you go back to your textbook and look at the information and look for those specific, supplemental pieces of information that you may have forgotten. And now you read that again, reinforcing the information, and write it down on that flashcard. And that's going to give you a really comprehensive understanding and recall of the terminology that's on the flashcard. So after you've completed your study, of course, you're going to be practicing. You've done your reading, your quizzes, your flashcards. It's time to get a feel for the actual exam. This is to test your readiness and manage your anxiety, to calm your nerves. Your Part 1 exam, Jonathan said earlier, you will have 2.5 hours to do your Part 1 exam. For Parts 2 and 3, you will have 2 hours to complete your exam. I recommend, as you're working through your quizzes and your practice exam, that you are monitoring your time and budgeting your time 1 minute per question. No more than 1 minute per question. You do not want to get into analysis paralysis and burn time when you don't know the answer. If you have read the question, thought about the solution, the correct answer, you've read your 4 answer choices, if you don't know the answer or haven't been able to select the best answer from the 4 options after 1 minute, you're probably not going to know the answer 3 minutes from now or 4 minutes from now. So discipline yourself around 1 minute per question. Choose an answer, flag the question, and move on. This will allow you a buffer of time once you've completed all of your exam questions to go back and revisit those questions that you flagged that you were unsure of. Okay? You don't want to run out of time. Good time management skills as you're working through your quizzes and your practice exam will allow you to eliminate the time element, from something that's going to cause you anxiety during your actual exam. So how much time should you expect to study? We often get this question. Part 1, about 40 hours. Part 2, about 40 hours or more. Part 3, at least 50 hours. For me, my personal testimonial here, for my Parts 1 and 2, I studied about 40 to 50 hours for each of those. I took them both and passed them both on my first attempt, and I passed them both on the same day. I took my Part 1 exam in the morning, and I took my Part 2 exam in the afternoon. So I was very disciplined. I also was pretty highly experienced. I already had a CPA license, so I had successfully passed that exam. But with this exam, I was a little intimidated, particularly by the Part 3 content, the IT content. My Part 3, I think I studied about 80 hours, but again, I passed it on the first attempt. I'm fearful of failure. I think most of us are. Nobody wants to fail. So I was committed. I was very disciplined in my study and wanted to be sure that I passed on my first attempt. So maybe my experience took me a little longer than, the average, but that's okay. This is part of the beauty of making sure that you do a realistic self-assessment before you begin your study, so that you're going into this with eyes wide open. You're aware of the time it's going to require for you to study and be fully prepared. So don't try to fool yourself. You cannot cram for these exams. So be realistic, do your planning, calendar your study time. It is so critical that you calendar your study time in whatever blocks of time are manageable for you with this COVID, pandemic. If you get 30 minutes a day, that's cool. 30 minutes a day is fine. Do it 6 days a week, take a day off, but know that it might take you 12 or 14 weeks to get through your Part 1 if you're only doing 30 minutes a day. If you can block out a couple hours a day, 3 or 4 times a week, that's even better, but be realistic. So your study time is going to vary based on how recently you've finished your formal education. If you're used to reading and studying and taking exams, you're going to be a lot more efficient at tackling this content and being successful on your exam. Your study time will vary based on your years of experience and your audit activity. If you're a government auditor in the public sector, it's going to take you a little more work because you're probably not adhering entirely to Red Book standards. Maybe you are. Most likely you're oriented around Yellow Book or even Green Book. So be mindful of that. Also depends on if your audit activity follows the IIA standards very closely. Do you have a robust quality assurance and improvement program? That's a very strong indicator that your audit activity follows the Red Book, and you're probably already very familiar with internal audit methodology and the standards and guidance. Another factor is your experience and your understanding of basic fundamentals of information technology. Okay? IT topics in your Part 3 exam, that'll be 45 questions out of your 100 questions on Part 3. And that IT content is tested at the basic level, which is a blessing and a curse. It was a blessing for me because I can understand the fundamentals of IT general controls and application controls. I can understand fundamentals of cyber risk and identity and access management and some of these topics. But I'm absolutely not an IT auditor. I'm a baby boomer. I wasn't born with a mobile phone in my hand. So this stuff was scary for me. So your expertise in accounting and IT will make a difference on your Part 3 exam. If you're a very experienced IT auditor, sometimes those folks struggle with the Part 3 exam because your day-to-day work experience and your knowledge of IT risk and control may be a much more, a deeper dive, much more in depth than what you will see on the IIA CIA exam. So know that all the IT topics are tested at the basic level. Your study time will vary based on how you study, whether you study in a group, you study in a classroom, virtual delivery, or you're studying independently. Also, of course, how efficient you are at comprehending the information that you're reading. That's going to have a factor in how much time it's going to take you to study. So now that you know about certification, the process, the benefits to obtaining it, and hopefully you've formed a great study strategy, let's talk about your actual exam day experience. Okay, backing up a bit to the study tips. Choose the right study method for your learning style. That's critical. Set your exam date. You will be in charge of when you are going to test. So choose a date. Be realistic. Do not procrastinate. That's the #1 reason that people don't earn their CIA certification. Set your study plan. Honor your appointments. Know your strengths and weaknesses. Again, write your flashcards. Put extra effort into studying the proficiency areas. So there's 2 types of exam questions. There's basic questions and there's proficiency level questions. So the proficiency level questions require analysis and synthesizing information and really, assimilating multiple pieces of information to choose the best answer about an actual internal audit dilemma or situation or internal audit methodology, as opposed to basic questions that are more oriented around terminology and definitions. Be prepared for your computer-based test format. Be sure you understand the professional practices framework. That is absolutely essential for your Part 1 and Part 2 exams. Write an audit manual table of contents using the standards as your barometer. Okay. If you were a new chief audit executive forming a new audit function, what would your table of contents of your audit policies and procedures manual look like? You know, it should cover everything: the code of ethics, the definition of internal auditing, your quality assurance and improvement program, audit methodology, how you're going to plan the work, how you're going to do a risk assessment to form your annual audit plan, how you're going to execute your testing, you know, what are the protocols around report writing and reviews and so forth. So think about real life examples in your work. Test taking tips. When you are looking at an exam question, read the last sentence. Read the sentence that has the question mark at the end. Understand what the question is asking before you read the background information in the paragraph, okay? Look for the qualifiers such as all, or except for, or least likely, or not. Make sure that you look for those qualifying words, because that will change the way you'll select an answer, obviously. Anticipate your answer before you read the answer choices. Answer broadly and globally. Remember, this exam is not limited to your professional experience. It's not limited to your industry or your public sector experience or private sector experience. You might get a hospital question or a banking question. Think logically and fundamentally about risk and control. And you know, using a common sense approach, you'll be fine. Eliminate the obvious wrong answers. Trust your first impression. Don't overanalyze the questions. If you're not sure of your answer, flag it. Move on. Budget your time. Be well rested. Eat a good meal. All of those common sense things. So let's turn it over to Kelly, and she'll tell you how you can get the IIA's CIA learning system with a really nice discount.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Vicki and Jonathan, for sharing all of that helpful information with everybody on the call today. We appreciate it. And yes,
Kelly, you might have to activate your mic.
Yeah, we can hear you, Kelly.
Okay, great. Thank you. We have a special offer for everybody on the call today. We are offering a special 20% discount on the CIA Learning System materials. That will be available until May 31st. So if you go to this website shown here, learnci.com, and enter the discount code SAVE2020WR at the checkout, you apply that discount code, you'll receive 20% off the materials. That will apply to full kits, which is parts 1 through 3 and individual parts. And also you'll receive an additional discount if you're an IA member. So just wanted to make sure you're aware about that special offer available until May 31st. If you have a friend or a colleague that you'd like to and maybe have 5 or more people at your office that want to purchase together, we do have additional discounts available. You can reach out to my colleague, Mike Downs. That's mike.downs@di.org, and he can provide additional information for group pricing. I also just wanted to share a couple links before we announce our winner here. To the ia.org/CIA is going to be where you're going to be able to find that candidate management system and information about the exam and the handbook. And then learnci.com is where you can purchase the learning system with that special discount. You can access some free practice questions and study tips. And then if you're interested in taking an instructor-led course, there's also a listing of all of our courses found around the world on that page as well. All right, so right at the end of the hour here, we're going to announce a winner for a free IACI online seminar. So Marie, would you mind picking a random winner, please?
I will, thank you. I'm pulling up the attendee list. I am going to close my eyes and give it a quick scroll and stop with my mouse. And the name is Angela Walker. Angela Walker, congratulations.
Great, congratulations, Angela. We will reach out to you and you'll be able to choose which online seminar you wish to attend. Okay, so I know we didn't get a lot of time here for some questions at the end, but we are going to review any questions that we missed, and we will reach out to you, or we will post the questions on this website. Also, if you'd like to obtain a copy of the recording and watch it and access the slides, you can go to this website, learnci.com/webinar archive, and you'll be able to find the recording. Just give us a few days to post it there, but it's going to be available for you soon. And with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you for everybody for attending. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kelly, Vicki, Jonathan. Thank you again for your presentation. And thank everyone for attending today. This is Marie Lilly on behalf of the IIA, and we wish you a great CIA journey. Stay safe. Have a great day. Bye-bye.